live stream now.
There's no way to connect the two channels, no? My channel with yours. I don't think it's possible, no?
I think so. I think I'm only given the choice of one because I could do YouTube or Facebook. But I think if you have the link,
Yes, yes, if you can send me on WhatsApp the link and I will put it on my story. I will try to prepare it. So when you send me the link, I will just have it there.
Here it comes.
Okay. I have the link. Just 1 second.
Okay, we'll just give it a minute or two so people can join.
Absolutely. Live here now. The social media. Okay, it's up on the story for people to enter in a few seconds. Okay.
Okay, here we go. All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Greetings of peace, everyone. Welcome. My name is Grace Song. I'm the executive director of the Suli Institute. We are a 501c3 nonprofit education institute. We are dedicated to elevating beauty, humanism, critical thinking, and today political satire in the Islamic humanist tradition. And we are so honored and blessed to have a very special guest with us today, Nicole Jeans, who is a producer, an actress, a political satirist. She has a small business, and she is, above all, a humanist speaking out bravely and boldly since October 7th on behalf of Palestine, which is something that really caught our attention because, we are here every Friday with the professor speaking from the prophet's pulpit, speaking out, calling out injustices, talking very boldly and bravely about what's happening in the world, trying to call Muslims to their ethical responsibilities. And so we were really excited to find this extremely talented person who has literally, dedicated all of her time and energy and talent and gift to speaking very bravely and boldly on Palestine, against Israel, against injustice, against just all of the atrocities we're seeing in our world, and using her gift of political satire. I hope you have had a chance to engage with some of the wonderful videos that she's put out. She's on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. She has about, I think I checked last night, about 214,000 followers on Instagram and another, I think 230 plus thousand followers on TikTok. And, we often sort of joke, by comparison, I think we have like 9,000 followers on Instagram. But the thing that, and I mentioned that to Nicole, and it was really lovely because she said she really didn't care about the numbers. What she really cared about was truth. And that's really how we approach our tradition as well. And I think the fact that our numbers are so low also testifies to that fact that when you speak truth to power, it's uncomfortable. People don't really like it. But I think maybe what we need to do is start introducing more satire into our work, and maybe we can boost our numbers. But we were so blessed to have Nicole accept our invitation, and I hope we could have an opportunity to talk about her work and what she's been experiencing, because everyone's life changed starting October 7th in many different unexpected ways. And I think it was, we here have been talking about how it's been really a red line moment, to see what you actually do. Speaking up, if you're, taking a stand, we see what's happening in the world. So, with that, welcome, Nicole. Thank you so much for taking this opportunity to share with us. And a lot of times, we've been having a lot of these real talk conversations. And I kind of start out with the question of, what was your life like before October 7th? And how did it change after? And maybe if you could tell us a little bit about yourself for people who are not familiar with your work and what you do and why your life is however it looks right now, now that we're 94 days, I guess, into this genocide. So thank you so much.
Well, hello, and hello to you too. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's an honor. And first of all, talking about the numbers and the people who say that the power it's in numbers, the power it's in truth first. And it doesn't matter what kind of numbers we have. It's very important to have conversations. And even if sometimes people disagree with us, actually truth comes from having a productive conversation. And you don't have to agree with everybody, but you have to have the willing to sit down and talk, because you told me that sometimes people, they don't want to listen or they are criticizing. That's good, but the people who are criticizing, they also need to understand that the knowledge and empowerment comes from this type of conversations, to have the willing to sit down and talk to people, even if you disagree with their ideas or you agree. So what was my life before October 7th? Actually, I'm doing political satire since many years now, because the platforms that I have in English that are quite new. I had and I have all my platforms that are triple big than all those in Spanish. So I used to do all those things in Romanian and in Spanish, and because I was really nervous to express everything I have to express to the world in English, because it's not a language that I consider I speak it like extremely well, to express myself like I do it in Spanish and Romanian. So I was doing this like since, for me it's like forever, but it's not, for it's like 7 8 years that I'm doing any type of satire in the world, and especially political satire. It was and it is in Spanish and Romanian. The people that know me speaking in English, it's a quite new thing, was out of the frustration that I'm receiving from Spanish speakers, especially from Spain, because people, they don't have this will to open their mind and sit down for a conversation. It's a country, my second country, that I love very much, but it's frustrating. Everything is happening, and especially on a subject on a Arab country. So and especially Spain, and I come from Andalusia, El Andalus, that was made by the Omeyas, and all the culture that is there. Especially for this point, I'm very disappointed with a great percentage from Spain, especially from El Andalus, because I care. Because I don't, if I don't care, simply I don't do any kind of videos or information. And even so, every time I do something in English, I care to translate it in Spanish, because the Romanian people, they know English like we know English. In 85% of the country, everybody speaks English. But in Spain, no. In Spain, everything it has to be translated in Spanish for them to want to see it. So my life was like this. I'm a person who's extremely curious. Um, uh, I I would love to have superpowers to help everyone. And I have this thing that when I get pissed seeing so much injustice, I need to find a way that Nicole can become some kind of character who has to speak truth to power. So I think it was my personality since I was very young.
It's so beautiful. Part of, like I mentioned to you before we started talking, part of what we try to do here in teaching, beautiful humanist Islam is helping people to recognize that everyone was given a gift and figuring out what that gift is and how do we use it to serve humanity, to move things forward, to serve God. And so that's, why it was also so striking to me, your personification of that. It's like I watched your interview on Al Jazeera, which I thought was really powerful, and how it just was so clear that you were just personally so offended by what you saw that you couldn't stand it. You had to do something about it. You said something like, at first I had rage and then I had passion. And like that sort of empowerment and unleashing is really what we are trying to help people find through, because we believe that that's what that Islam calls for. And yet, in our world, there's so few people who are brave because people are worried about, their jobs, their perception, like, am I going to say something that's going to ultimately hurt me? But, you went full force. I became very fascinated. Can you tell us, like, where do you draw your strength and your bravery? And, why do you feel like, why are you willing to say so many things that put you in hot water with, people? And I know you've gotten some death threats too, as well, right? So just what drives
First
you?
of all, First of all, we live in a world where truth is such a rare thing to see. So people are afraid of the truth. So the more they're afraid, the more they hate the ones who do speak the truth. When people are calling people like me who are just speaking normal things, for me, it's you only need to have humanity to speak about those matters. And when they're calling me a hero, I'm not a hero. This is the basic human value that every human being should have. So when you see that the truth and such a simple thing became such a valuable value of the society, it's extremely sad. Like, do I have to explain adults in 21st century that butchering kids and standing on the side just looking at this ongoing genocide, I have to explain them that it's wrong? Because they think they need to have a lot of political knowledge to understand what is happening. But when you see thousands of kids and men and women, when you see innocents that are dying, do I have to explain you what kind of political intention is behind when you are having in front of you what is happening? Because it's not like we are hearing what's happening. We are seeing a genocide that is streamed. So this is the reason. This is the many people are surprised you have the courage. I don't think it's courage. It's just a simple human value that we all should have, that it became such a expensive currency in the world. The truth is very expensive nowadays, and that fear for the truth, when you fear something, you automatically start hating the people who don't fear that basic and very powerful tool that we have. I don't think I'm courageous. I don't think I lost the north. I lost the truth. I mean, the focus of what a human being should have. So yeah, I think this is what drives me. And as I said before, first it was rage, because I know about Palestine and Syria and Afghanistan and everything is happening in the world, because I'm a curious human being, because I like to question everything that I see on TV. So it's our responsibility to educate ourselves, because maybe you think, I'm in Spain or I'm in any country, I don't care because it doesn't touch me. Yes, but you vote for the politicians who have the power of politics outside the border of your country. So take that same right and that same, I have democracy and I choose, and other people don't have, and use it by being careful what they are doing outside. So it's a collective responsibility that we basically lost. And I don't know what to say about this new generation. I'm impressed with the Gen Z generation and how they took the matter of Gaza. And at some point, I lost my faith in them at some point. But I see that they're waking up right now, and I'm really proud of them. I have to say that, because all the time I'm at a conversation war with Gen Z generation, with everything they're complaining about. But right now I love them. I cannot say anything against the Gen Z generation, right? I see how they have this passion to break the system, and we have to take those little victories and enjoy them for a second.
Absolutely. Well, you stand out among so many influencers, because I know a lot of people are complaining that people who have the followers are silent, especially even in our own Muslim community. So, and I think people who are brave oftentimes don't realize that they are being brave, but it's probably, an issue of priorities. It's more important to you to speak truth than it is to, anger your followers or lose followers. And that, I think, is really beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about just, some of the reaction that people have had? I'm sure I heard that, obviously a lot of people in Arab countries are very grateful because, they're very aware of what's happening and they recognize when people are being silent. but you have many different audiences, and I'm just curious about the different reactions you've been receiving.
I'm gonna tell you the reaction that I'm expecting the most and I like the most. Anger. Because that means if somebody's angry when they see my video, of course, I'm not targeting with my videos. I'm very grateful with all the love I'm receiving from Arab countries, but they are helping me to get engagement and to lift the audience. But I really target the people who don't know. And when they feel offended, they have this need to come at me with arguments and tell me that you're wrong. But in order to do that, they need to study what I'm talking about. So in that process, maybe they are going to learn something. At least they're going to read, and at least they need to use their brains in order to come at me. So anger, it's actually a feeling that it's very healthy in this context, because there are people who simply say Arab terrorist. That's it. What Hollywood and Netflix showed us for years, and it's really unfair. Everything is happening. They worked so hard for so many years to portray this picture of Arab world, and it's really racist and unfair. So they have this thing in their mind, like people who wear certain kinds of clothing, and they have to throw bomb, and that's it. They don't think. We even have jokes in Europe like. You're from an Arabic country. The next sentence is something about a bomb. This kind of little racism, because they're used to see this in movies, and they work for years and years to portray it like this. So I really target this kind of public to re-educate those people. You cannot educate them by sitting them down and telling them a history lesson. They will never listen, because they don't want to feel guilty. Deep down, they know it's wrong. Nobody wants to feel guilty. I give this example many times. You go to cinema, and before seeing your movie, you're going to see on the screen, donate for the people in Somalia who are dying from hunger. And you're eating your popcorn and you're there with your partner. Nobody's donating at the end. Why? Because there's a feeling of guilt. And we human beings, we don't like guilt. But now anger, though, but a constructive anger. So when you see something that in your mind, those people is their fault, terrorists, blah, blah, blah. But when you see someone from your community, because they are very angry with me, like, oh, you're European and you're like, let's see, especially when I say in Spain, and I'm from south of Spain, all your lineage, it's Arab. Everything that's here in Andalusia, it's Arab. And they don't know even this. So that's why when you make a comedy, when you get out of this the context of conversation of politics, and you need to educate this kind of people, you need to know how they think. They need to feel offended, because it's happening all the time. Many people are celebrating Christmas today. Well, maybe you heard it, because in US it's happening a lot. You cannot say Merry Christmas, because maybe I feel offended, and they offend my feelings because I don't feel merry. Or you cannot say amen, because it has to be a meaning woman, because if not, the women are offended. We live in this kind of generation, so you cannot expect to sit them down and explain them a conflict historically speaking. You need to offend them somehow. So like this, they will come at you in some way. So in the process, they will learn. So it might sound Machiavellic, but it's my way of thinking. I learned it from Western media. They did this with us for many years. I took a page from their book. It's working well. Thank you for the lesson.
Did you want to ask a question, Professor?
I mean, there are a lot of things that are fascinating, and I would like to get into. But it is I'm a law professor, right? And I teach people that have high intelligence, and on many issues they can show proper moral outrage at immoral things. But I'm always struck by how when there is like a mental block when it comes to Palestine, especially. And so I mean, it is I have colleagues who are do public interest work, do pro bono work with refugees, with even I have with Indian tribes. But then when it comes to Palestine, suddenly their moral thinking stops. And they can watch these images of an ongoing genocide and just be defensive of Israel. This is, something that, and so what's your explanation? How could someone, for instance, a colleague who spent their life uh, advocating human rights and writing these very learned articles about human rights conventions, human rights treaties, the law of human, even be a member of human rights organizations on the advisor or on the board, but then come to this butchery that we are all witnessing, and suddenly they just have an ethical, moral, intellectual block, incapable of moral reasoning. How do you explain that?
I think it's very easy. It's basic human psychology. It's like when you know you're doing something wrong in life and you don't want to admit it, because if you admit that you did, that you supported everything, this genocide, this massacre, you can mentally collapse. I'm thinking about, for example, the Zionists. It's impossible for a human being. We're made of the same flesh and blood. It's impossible for a human being not to think the same. So I'm going to give myself an example. I did something wrong to my parents, or I did something wrong to somebody, and I know it's so wrong, but I cannot admit it, because the moment I admit that I support in killing kids, I know that I'm such a low human being and I can lose my mind when I'm going to open my eyes and see what I supported. So it's actually the Zionists, they did a great job in brainwashing people. So it happened like it happened in the pandemic and everything, people supporting theories and conspiration theories. And after they said was not constitutional, just because they had a degree and just because they were, I don't know, speaking pro or against vaccine. You remember the crazy everybody with their conspiracy theory about everything. And a lot of people with law degree, with degrees from I don't know how many university, they were wrong. As a human being, it doesn't matter what age you have. You need to understand that you are learning your life. It's a daily learning of new things. So they know this is wrong. They know that killing kids. Do I have to sit a professor, a person like you just described, and tell him, do you think killing and butchering kids, finding pieces of the body of those kids on the street daily of thousands by the thousands, do I have to sit you, degree professor, to tell you is wrong? If we reach to this point, there's no humanity in the world. I don't care about their degrees. I don't care about how many books they wrote. I don't care who they are. At the core, you're a rotten person. It's impossible. The only thing I have to tell them, the only thing I understand, and I don't agree, maybe you don't want to admit that you're supporting butchering of human beings. You don't want to open your eyes, because you know the moment you're going to open your eyes, you're going to hate yourself. And this is basic human psychology. Like when little kids, they did something wrong and they know mama and papa is going to tell them something, they're going to keep lying because they don't want to admit that they disappointed their parents. They don't have any excuse. You can put in front of me whatever, the biggest teacher in the world. If I have to explain, me, a simple person, I don't have that much university education whatsoever as other people might have. If I have to explain you that killing innocents is wrong, I don't care how many causes you supported in your life. For me, you're less than zero as a human being. And not just for me, for humanity generally. And when it comes to Palestine, okay, you were brainwashed for years. I understand all this confusion of religion between Christian and Jews, for example. I heard many times in prayers, in masses, in Christian masses at the church, since I was little, mentioning Israel in some prayers, but they're not mentioning Israel as a state, because this is a very simple thing to understand. Like, Jews and Zionists is a very different thing. Jews are since thousands of years back, and you can find the word Israel in very old books, but you will not find Israel as the name of a state that was actually made illegally and give it to the Zionists illegally by UK from 1948. Period. That's it. It's a very simple thing to understand. And because people, they cannot grasp the fact that there are Arabs who are Christians, Arabs who are Muslims, Arabs who are Buddhists, Arabs who are Jews. They cannot understand those things. If I have to go with my partner in Europe and I'm telling them, oh, my partner is Arab but Christian. Yeah, but he's eating pork. Like, they don't know. Do you speak Muslim? It's like, what do I speak Muslim? Do you eat Muslim? Is this kind of basic knowledge. So I don't care what degrees those professor, I even if I don't have such a high education of I don't know how many degrees and books, I don't consider that type of person, even if he advocated for any cause in their life, doesn't have an ounce of my respect. Because it doesn't matter, you're Palestinian, you're Syrian, you're Romanian, I don't care the color of your skin or from what country or what belief you have. We're human beings. So personally, I don't respect this kind of people. I leave all my satire and all my sarcasm. They're actually a very good target for me. It's just this, I like to listen to them and then, okay, it's my turn. It's impossible. Like, how? Like, how you're telling me it's a blockage? It's not a blockage. They don't want to admit. It's just this, they don't want to admit, and it will come the day, trust me. But you know when? How it happened with all the Holocaust, for example, with the Jews. When they admit it, after years and years and years, and we are wondering, and we learn in school, and why nobody did anything, gold, gas chambers, everything. How is that possible? How is it possible today? That what we're seeing, what happened in the World War II, we barely have videos like we have today. Do we have to wait for generations for our kids to ask why we didn't do anything? Because all those things would come eventually at the light, because truth prevails. It's impossible right now. Just people are in disbelief. This cannot happen, because if they don't see it with their own eyes, they will not believe it, even if they see it in videos. So we are still at the stage that people are saying, no, they must have deserved it somehow, because how is it possible that the Holy Land does this? Well, you have it there. You have to be with, I have to say the word, a shitty person not to open your eyes with all your degrees or whatever you learn in school. And I'm ashamed of those people. I don't respect them, nor I will read any books they wrote, or I don't care how they wash their image by saying, yes, but I'm supporting the Indians. Okay, fine. Yeah. So
Nicole,
that's my view.
I'm just wondering, like, at what point in your life, I mean, growing up in Romania and Spain, basically you're European. I mean, growing up as a European, at what point did you realize the scale of injustice in Palestine? At what point did you, it stood out in your mind that what happened to Palestine and what happened to Palestinians was just very wrong? I'm just, you're curious about your educational background, your moral growth, if you will.
My moral growth is in a lot of books that I read. I was very curious about life. What I study has nothing to do with what I do right now. My mom wanted me to be a doctor or something, like mom wants to be a doctor. When you get out of the school, you have a job, but I was a dreamer. I'm still one. I studied philology. I mean, everything that had to do with books and not with math. I hate math. I hate chemistry. I hate all those like good things that people learn. So I wanted to run from math. and I went to philology. And because I decided to be a writer out of the blues, I never wrote anything in my life. So I decided this with 14 to study this. It helped me at the level of not learning math too much. I just know how to sum and count the money. Don't ask me math. That's how silly I'm in math. So actually, my education came from the hunger of knowing what's outside. I lived on the farm until I was 15, a beautiful life, everything natural. We were not allowed to see TV or have phones or have, we had radios, and I used to listen theater on radio, but we were allowed to have all the books we wanted. So I think the hunger of knowing what was outside of my small world there, which by the way, I used to hate it, but I love it and I miss it right now. Because when you're a kid, you have this curiosity. Why I don't live in a big city and I have to live here on the farm and I have to work the land, and I live this kind of life, and it helped me understood the value of life. And right now you can give me whatever lifestyle, I know how to value. How can I put the bread on my table from the first piece of meat to the last tomato? Well, my mom had to fight with me all the time because I was waking up very late to go to help at the field. But it comes from this. You have to know that life, it's not what you live right now. Because if you take out the internet, if you take out the supermarkets, we're useless. We are useless. Honestly, when I see this generation and I people who are sacrificing animals, where do you think you eat from when you go to KFC or whatever place you're going? Do you think the meat grows in the trees? And we don't take care of the base of the society, which is the agriculture, and to take care of the animals and to take care of the value of life itself, because everything is at a button distance and everything is so easy. But if you take the internet one day in the world, it's chaos. So imagine in what kind of world we're living right now. I'm not going to say I'm the best one. No, I'm the same now. I have all the devices in the world. But I think if I go back to taking care of the land, I will remember fast how to dig it and put the seeds and everything. So everything came from not having all the Western media in my veins, because right now I'm imagining people that they receive directly the news in their veins, and whatever CNN or BBC, even if they know they're lying, they're Pinocchio at their best, and they're outraged sometimes about the lies. They take those news outlets like the word of God, no, because CNN said it, it must be true, because they lived like this and they were young. So me and my siblings, we didn't have TV. No, when I saw TV for the first time, I was like, wow, I knew what TV was. But it was not like spending hours, it was books. So I had this base of a critical thinking and creating my imagination from books. I didn't have all the brainwashing of TV or cartoons or whatever since I was 15. When I reached 15, then not because it was forbidden, no, it was my father thinking that was best for us to develop in a different kind of way. So I think this is what is happening to, you ask me how I started. I think since forever, not only with Palestine, when I saw the news, I remember that I read something in some place that was not like this. I think it's very important to keep pressing on the education of our kids and make a difference, and understand that if we cut the internet one day, what would be the reaction of my toddler or my kid? Or if we cut the internet or the electricity for 1 month, does my kid know how to do anything other than calling for food takeaway or seeing something on the tablet? So I think this was even if I hated my father, hated. Well, of course, as a kid, you want to have like my pad, whatever, and you want to see all the TV and everything. But I have to thank them very much that they gave me the opportunity to be angry at them, and at the same time, yalla, Nicole, go with the goats and take a book and read it. I used to cry and hate them so much, but then trust me, somehow I have to combine this lifestyle if I ever have kids. I don't know if it's gonna work. How can I have goats here in Cairo? I don't know.
Tell us about the chicken story you were telling us earlier about.
Okay. So every time I'm talking about this kind of stories of my childhood, I have people even of my age. You lived like a barbaric. I said, "Yeah, okay, we're barbarians. If you think I was barbarian because I was killing a chicken to eat it, it's your opinion. This is how can I explain it? The snowflake population that they don't understand that the chicken doesn't come from the tree. And there are people who live this kind of lifestyle. We had a farm. We used to live like this. I adored this kind of lifestyle. My mom was pregnant. She needed to eat chicken. My father was far away. My brother, because normally the man is doing the sacrifice, but it's not like forbidden by Christianity or anything in Romania. No, but normally as a tradition, the man does it. So I had to learn how to sacrifice a chicken for my pregnant mom because the boys were away. So yeah, this kind of natural lifestyle, and at the same time, you have to know that it's a sin. It's a very big sin to make the animal suffer. So it's not like, oh, I'm gonna do a trial and see how it's done. Or after this, I have to take care of the tomatoes, and I have to, I don't know, grow the animal, knowing that I'm going to sacrifice it at the end. So it's an entire process that nowadays, when I'm talking to people, what are you right now? We're sacrificing some animal at the farm. You hate animals. You're such a barbarian. You're such a like, do you eat meat? Yes. For sure, the animal was gassed. Impossible to be gassed. If you don't know that if you gas a chicken, for example, it will be so scared that you cannot eat the meat after that. Because when the animal is scared and you want to sacrifice the animal for eating, and the animal sees the knife or feels the gas or whatever, the meat will be stiff. The meat will be absolutely stiff. You cannot even eat it. And when they think this is, sorry, I'm getting a call. So when you think they're killed in some gas way whatsoever, this is not happening. So yeah, I live this kind of lifestyle, and I think if the conspiracy theory of the young generation think that the zombies are coming, I think I can be safe on a farm.
So were you conscious of the Palestinian plight, let's say in college? Uh, um, and did you stand out among your peers? I'm just fascinating at how you bonded with the Palestinian plight and the Palestinian suffering, because I've seen videos where you've gone and you're standing side by side with Palestinians, and you're not just making political satire commentary, but you're actually on the ground helping.
And further
Well,
than
how
that,
it started.
oh, sorry. And I just also wanted to highlight that you have a textile factory in Egypt, and after October 7th, you turned all of that effort into creating winter wear and clothing for people in Gaza. So people should know that this is not something that is just like, oh, I'll just say a few things and let it go. You literally put your work, you dedicated your factory to creating, hats and shoes and jackets and hoodies and gloves, and then working with the Red Crescent to make sure that that was shipped to Gaza. I think now over 36,000 pieces, right? Or maybe
Yes.
more. That, which is that is a just mind-blowing and way above and beyond what anyone would do. So that is really incredible. But
You've sacrificed a lot of money, so not just talk, but uh, I've worked in the human rights field all my life, and I've just learned um, it's how rare it is to find someone who doesn't only speak the truth, but also sacrifices their material well-being to help a cause. And if we wanted to have more Nicoles in this world, what should we do? How do we replicate you? Uh, how do we make more copies of you, basically?
I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea. Trust me. When people are calling me an influencer, I can influence you to do bad things, or speak a very sarcastic way. It's just a human thing. It's normal. It's a lot of stress. The only thing that I can complain about is that I lost several kgs in the worrying of doing everything. It's normal that maybe how I call them Israel hates me somehow. So I have to do everything very legal, very perfect, this is the only thing that I'm going to complain about. Maybe God gave me a very good mental strength. I have wonderful people around me and my family who support me. I'm upset sometimes with everything I see and all the genocide and everything, but then I have 5 minutes and I wake up and I can keep forward, and I thank God for this mental strength. And I don't see it as something, I see it as something normal, human, and necessary. May God give me on other side. I don't complain 1 ounce. I just want God to give me everything to be smooth, to give me good people like I have in the family's factory and all the volunteers and everything that we did. And so far, thank God, everything was smooth and everything went there until we got the certificate from the Palestinian Red Crescent. It was very stressful at the beginning because I never did all this process with all the papers and all the bills and all the everything. It's stressful because you're speaking against very big power, and any ounce, especially in Europe, any cent that you don't put it, don't declare it, don't, you can have very big issues, especially as a European. So far, thank you very much for very kind words, but I think is the natural thing to do. And maybe people sometimes they see, oh, I could never do that. Until you start it and until you put your mind to it, to see that was not such a big deal when you have a passion. So when people are telling me I want to replicate you, that's not a good idea. Trust me, I'm very I'm a complicated person to be replicated, and a very sarcastic one. I don't know how somebody didn't beat me up until now, but and I don't consider myself to be an influencer. No, impossible. Like the way I'm talking, I have to suppress 50% of the sarcasm I have inside my brain. Oh God, you cannot even imagine when it's such a nice conversation like this one, but you put me a person from the other side and impossible, you have to censor the entire video. So that's not a good idea to replicate me. We are all unique, and we need to understand that it's not such a big deal to show your humanity. If you cannot, I mean, God gave me the opportunity to have this wonderful family and to have this business and help and put from our side the factory and everything. And when you help, God gives you at the right time. Maybe a factory will work very well whatsoever. Those are small things. If you have give, another saying in Romania, it's a gift from a gift, it makes heaven. So even if you don't have material opportunities to do anything, put your heart on the table. Speak about it. Don't stay silent. There's many ways to show your humanity. Maybe other people, they don't have the opportunity to. I cannot say Nicole did it because she's the best. I have wonderful people around me. I have an amazing family. I have the factory workers. I have people, especially in this region, that they understand what is happening. So when they are doing it, I don't know if you saw the series La Casa de Papel, when they are printing the money. They are trying to steal the money from the Spanish bank, so they are printing them. So when you see those people saying, "Yalla, come, do money, print money," I'm the same in the factory. Yalla, do clothes. Today we do this, that, and you can see the passion because they understand the cause, and that's amazing. That's a very beautiful feeling, and. When you said at the beginning, like how I empathize with the Palestinian cause, is not only the Palestinian cause. It's, I want people to understand one thing. It takes just a brain, and we cannot expect this from many people, but if it's not a brain, a heartbeat. It doesn't matter if it's Congo, if it's Sudan, if it's Palestine, if it's Syria, if it's the woman in Afghanistan, whatever, it doesn't matter. You open your eyes, you see an information, have critical thinking. Whatever you see, question it. That's why you have a brain. Like, I see all those people who are FBI of relationships. Oh my God, cheated on me. I have to look at all the information. And you see those FBI girls going on the social media of the poor men. They know the size of the shoes. But when you see an information, you cannot be critical and take your own opinion about it and search for 5 minutes. But you have time to call those people terrorists without knowing. So it's just a, bread and circus used to be something in Rome when they were putting the gladiators to fight and they were giving bread to people. So you keep all those silly people with circus and give them Starbucks and McDonald's, they will not ask you for anything. It's just critical thinking. It's not like how I got all this passion it's only for Palestine. It's for anything. For anything you see around you, use your brain. Even if you have one brain cell, use that brain cell until it burns, but you have to use it because it will come a day that all this technology maybe will not work. And maybe you will learn how to process your own news that you hear, how it happened in World War One and Two. People were hearing the radio and guessing what's happening in the world, and they still had more humanity than we have nowadays. And you have all those devices in your hand. Nothing. Your brain is it cannot brain your brain. But anyway.
Well, how did you it's one thing to have your brain, but it's another thing to then actively make the decision, I'm going to do this. And because you had to overcome, like you said, you'd never done this project where, okay, I'm going to turn everything that I produce out of my textile factory and turn everything to producing things for Gaza. And I'm really curious about, what transpired. Just as an example, like these are really important stories of role modeling, right? Because I think a lot of people have ideas, but they maybe don't have the confidence, or they think I can never do this. And I often tell the story here, like, we started this nonprofit, back in 2017, had no idea what was going to come of it. And now, 6 years, 7 years later, we've done quite a lot. And a lot of it we'd never done before, and it's such a good feeling, but it just takes that first step of deciding, okay, I'm going to try this. I've never done it before, but we'll try, just wondering how you approach life like that.
um Well, my mom used to call me when I was little a kamikaze girl, but not kamikaze like I put the vest and boom. No, kamikaze like Nicole is the one who does the thing and then thinks about the consequences. I'm still like that. I'm still like that. Of course, I think I grew up a little bit more. People are scared of winning, not losing, because we're losing every day. If you didn't try an idea, you already lost. You didn't do anything, you lost that idea. Why are you scared of in life to have your critical thinking, to do something that you love to do? Why you like to stay like a sheep in the line and you don't want to question everything is happening around you? I mean, what kind of identity? When I see people, when you're different, you told me about what you did from 2017. And people, maybe they are scared. Who are those people? Why they are doing this? They are better than us. They know something that we don't know. That's scary because people like to stay in their comfort zone. And once they see somebody uh, doing something different, they feel this psychological threat. Who is this person knowing more than me? Who is this person trying to, even if they don't know what you're talking about, even if they don't know what is your aim with all your project, I'm not going to listen because this person may be some kind of is going to speak against something. People, that's why we see so many people on internet seeing news of butchered kids, and they are still afraid to have their critical thinking and say, why is this happening? Because they take something that it's normal for the majority to look at BBC, CNN, or whatever, and they are afraid to have this critical thinking because they're afraid to be judged by people. So in my case, as I told you, don't take Nicole as an example. Nicole thinks something, jumps, and then the consequences will come. Amazing. what will happen. It's my way of being. And at the same time was not enough. Was not enough. I'm also close to the border, and I don't know if I feel it in a different way. I have no idea if this is the reason, but I was boiling from every fiber of my body. I need to do something more. It was not enough for me to try to educate the empty heads that I have online. Impossible. I said I have to do something more. And when you do something with good heart, God will give you a good idea and will guide you in a way you cannot even imagine. Because I didn't think this at the beginning, 3 months back. I was having ideas, but when everything aligns and when you do something with passion and not for a trend, not for people to know who Nicole is. Nicole is Nicole. Scramble brain who doesn't sleep at night to write script. That's Nicole. It's Nicole is like an artist. That's it. Don't think I'm some kind of powerful woman. The power comes from passion. Have a passion and be truthful, and then everything will align. If you like in life, when you have the aim, for example, in your business, when you have money as an aim, it's not gonna work. But if you have as a passion on the way, that if you do what you like and you put passion into it, then it's gonna work. You cannot imagine how. Oh, that's for me the answer. And I think don't take it as a recipe. That's what I think.
Nicole, I just recently I'm getting quite a bit of blowback. As academics in the United States are always targets, and if you speak up, especially speak up for the rights of Palestinians, you become a target for all types of organizations in the U.S. And so I compared the policies that Israel takes toward vis-a-vis Palestinians, especially in Gaza. I mean, not just to apartheid, but to the tactics of Nazi Germany against Jews, and the way they consistently blamed the victim for their own plight. And then I was watching one of your videos, and I I think you made some type of, the same type of comparison and same type of illusion. And of course, you get, as an academic, you get a lot of blowback. You get into trouble for making these types of comparisons. But I think it's quite obvious. I mean, what are your thoughts on it? And I'm sure growing up in Europe, the Holocaust is part of the European consciousness, I think, in very present ways. And I'm sure you've read about Nazi Germany and Nazi propaganda.
Yes.
And yet we're doing it all over again. I mean, it is just incredible. I mean, when you think that every technical definition is fulfilled under the Genocide Convention. The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has received dozens of complaints and filings and refuses. This is the same man who indicted Putin right away and said, "Oh, this is such an obvious matter. We must indict Putin because the crime is a crime." And then, but nothing, absolutely silence when it comes to this. I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts about this, because I see the parallels with Nazis are obvious as everything else.
I think these people are so scared to bring back the idea of Nazi. I mean, from my generation, for example, we grew up talking oh my God, you cannot compare somebody with a Nazi because this is the ultimate insult. Well, I am comparing the Zionists with Nazi because it's exactly what they are doing. It's exactly, imagine a lot of people that are in Israel, they suffered maybe the Holocaust, and they are doing the same thing that the Nazi did to their grandparents or their parents. And then you see the Jews on the street, the poor people who are saying, not in my name, who they understood exactly what the Zionists want to do, to play that victim card. And many people all over the globe, They understood that they can get canceled, banned, lose their jobs. We live in a very coward society. I have to say that. I don't care who's going to get mad with me, but we live in a coward world. Everybody will lick the boot of anyone not to lose something. They are willing to sell their human values just to stay safe in a comfort zone. Okay, I understand you want to protect your family whatsoever, but when we speak as a community and we speak together, and when you see the truth in your face, I mean, when you repeat a lie over and over and over again, it becomes your truth. This is the Nazi propaganda. And it's the same thing that we saw for years. This is anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic. Even Jews are anti-Semitic nowadays. It lost the value of the word. Now when you say anti-Semitic, nobody is scared that it's going to be pointed anymore because they overuse this so much. And when we're going to truly see something that is anti-Semitic, it's not going to, we're not going to see the truth than the facts anymore, because now they are calling the Jews self-hating Jews, because and there are people who suffered the Holocaust. So if they're so afraid of this, to compare the Zionists with Nazi, they're cowards, because the facts are there. They are calling Palestinian animals what Hitler did. Those are animals. So when you compare a human being, when you say let's kill kids, you cannot say it. But if you say let's kill rats, then in your mind, psychologically speaking, you can kill a rat because it's something that you're disgusted about it. You can kill a rat, no problem. When you repeat this over and over and over again, and when you kill and kill and kill, and people got so exhausted with their poshy lives because they cannot see so many killed kids, because this is something else. You show them images. I don't want to see. Oh my God, very gross. I will not sleep at night. But then they have the time to say, this is anti-Semitic. We live in a coward society. I don't have any kind of respect to tell them exactly what they are. Cowards, period. So they're attacking you for being an academic. Yeah, you should be proud. You should be proud, because they are not going to attack you if you're not saying something that is bothering them. Because they know exactly. It's impossible. It's the same that I said before. It's impossible, just me, to have more courage and tell somebody who's academic, I know everything. I have to sit that person and say, do you agree with killing kids? And he's not going to answer me. Do you condemn Israel? He's not going to answer me. So if you're not going to condemn violence or condemn the killing of innocents, I'm not going to have a conversation with you. I don't care what kind of views, and I don't care if they attack you because you do something right. That's it. I'm not, personally, I don't spend even 1 ounce of saliva to talk with this kind of people. I have from the beginning 2 questions. Do you know what's happening in Palestine? Yes. Do you agree with slaughtering of innocents? Well, Hamas is using them as human shields. Let me see, Habibi. If you have a kid, he's in school, and a school shooter is coming and starts to shoot people around the school. And now FBI or whatever, they propose you as a parent to blow up the entire school just to kill the terrorist inside the school. Would you agree your kid to be killed? Because if Mossad and Israel with the weapons, with the nuclear weapons, whatever they have, if their real target was Hamas, why don't you do special operations? If you're such a great power of intelligence whatsoever, they fill their mouth of talking about surgical attacks with the leader of blah blah blah. We did surgical attacks. Why don't you do this kind of surgical attacks and leave the people alone? Because that's not the reason. Yeah. In reality, that's not the reason. Why don't you leave like all those big news outlets to go to Gaza and film? Nobody, not CNN, not BBC, nobody. They don't want to let people enter. So put in front of me whatever academic with how many thousands of books he read. I have those questions for that person. It depends. I don't need a academic answer. I need a yes or a no. That's it. I see so many people telling me, you don't understand. Yeah, Habibi, what do I have to understand? What do I have to understand? Killing kids is wrong. When you start doing, that's it. Your humanity is lost. Therefore, I don't need to explain myself in front of you. You attack me, it's because you care about what I'm saying. They attack you because they care about what you say. If they don't attack you, it's because you're not speaking something that bothers them. So that for me makes me proud. What can I say? Do I believe that they can really attack me in a physical way? Yeah, absolutely. Of course, they're butchering kids. They're not going to attack me. Of course, they're going to attack me if they want. People are asking me, "Are you afraid?" Well, I don't know what to say. Sometimes I'm staying on the balcony. I say, maybe a drone will come right now. Or I'm also very, my mind is a movie all the time. It's a script. I'm also a bit like this, you know. I'm making scripts 24/7, but
No, but
of course
yeah, yeah. No, I mean,
I-
I'm yeah, with a little bit worried about you, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Uh,
they want to kill me. They will kill me in Honolulu, in Somalia, or in Bucharest. Whoever, whatever. What? How do I want to live my life? With a duct tape of my mouth? Who is Nicole? The one who's making jokes. Are you going to kill Nicole? I want to kill Nicole because she makes jokes that you don't like. Actually, I had few comments. I mean, really, like, even if the comedy it's a target nowadays, imagine what a joke of a world we have. I do comedy, but I have a lot of jokes around me. So I posted on Twitter my last video of political satire, and I had 2, 3 Zionists commenting, "I don't agree with anything you're saying. I'm from Israel, but I have to admit that you're good at humor." It's like, okay, at, at least, he that person freedom of speech, because you saw the videos of those people mocking deads.
yeah.
They're mocking. One thing is to do comedy and satire, and another very different thing is to mock death. You will never see, I mean, I didn't see people doing the same thing that I do, mocking how the soldiers are dying there. Because this is the
Yeah.
humanity that you show. It's
Yeah.
impossible when you see a clash of two armies, even in that moment, like with the fear and respect of God and what you have in your heart, you cannot see death and be so happy. That's the humanity that they are not showing. They think this is comedy. Oh, I saw a man that it's a comic or something from Israel saying, "We promised to flatten Gaza, and look what we did." Okay, I'm mocking the fact that you stole your national anthem from Romania, which is true. I don't know if you knew this, but it's a song. It's a
No, I
Romanian
didn't.
song. Yes, their
Oh,
national
really?
anthem. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The
wow.
national anthem. It's a melody from Romania called Caro cu boi, that is means the carriage with bulls, and it's stolen from Romania. The Hativa, their national anthem, it's a Romanian stolen song.
Yeah.
You can
Oh my
Wikipedia
gosh.
that in a second. What else?
Wow.
The food is stolen. They steal absolutely everything. What identity? Like, why? But I cannot have any expectation. But if your mom is from Germany and your father is from UK, you're not native to the land of. Okay, maybe you're a Jew. That's your belief. Be a Jew in any corner of the world. I don't care. But native to the land of Palestine, you're not. Even if you want to dream about it, you will never be a native of that land. What is so difficult to understand, and what Nicole the comedian knows, and maybe other academics they don't understand with all the books they wrote? What's so difficult to understand and speak up about those things? The truth
You
will
know, I just
eventually
want
come at
to
the light. Yes.
I want to underscore for just all the young people and the students who are going to watch this, and I hope that they take the time and check out your videos. I mean, you could have had a very successful career in fashion, in in uh, in acting. You could have chosen a path that didn't stand by principle and enjoyed a great deal of success. But I've seen before old videos of you where you are doing fashionable things and looking stunningly beautiful, all of it. But you chose to sacrifice. You chose to take the stand and to pay the price. Um, uh, and I just admire that. I try to impart that to my students. And one of the things that always, a lot of people are just weak, but there are a lot of Muslims who uh, don't rise to even anything close to the type of moral stand you've taken and the type of sacrifices you've taken. And I think that it's important to think about someone like you and how much you've given up. Um, One of the comments you've made in one of your videos that really struck me, um, because it could have come out of the mouth of a Muslim. I know that you're Christian, and that is, you said, you can't threaten someone who doesn't believe that death is the end. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I would just love to hear your thoughts about it, because it's something that it's what as you probably know, it's something that I believe as well, and that's exactly my attitude. And I just thought it just shows that morality is morality and ethics are ethics. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, or Jewish. If you're a moral person, you're a moral person. It's as simple as that. So I just would like you to elaborate upon that. It's so stunningly beautiful.
Well, we know we live in a world where it's a very fast food world. I like to call it. Everything is so fast and the numbers are coming. So everyone wants to hop on this trend and feel important and validate their feelings on social media and be somebody of substance. They think it's substance to model things on internet and have those numbers. I work with social media and I worked as a producer for many years. I know what the industry of entertainment means. I worked as a producer for music industry, for doing video clips for many years. And I had big platforms all my life. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Even if people stop you on the street, doesn't mean anything. When you go to sleep, and if the pillow it's your judge, you have nothing. If you can sleep on the pillow and that pillow doesn't make questions about your spirituality and your soul, and if you sleep thinking how tomorrow you're going to do more numbers, you're nothing. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry for people who I'm going to hurt their feelings, but it's important to do your money, to do your struggle, to do your life, to do what you love, and in the process to win your public and your numbers. But if you think that not having substance and not having values, just because you don't want to lose the numbers, but you gain the numbers without those values, you're nothing. And at the end of the day, when you want people around you, make a test and ask people to come at your door and to help you. Nobody's going to come because it's virtual. And you have to understand, it sounds nice to have there a big number, a verified check or whatever. It sounds nice. It's the ego. We're human beings. We have this, we need to validate our feelings. Who lacks scenes in this life? Nobody. It feels nice. I'm not going to say no. Or to be recognized on the street whatsoever, but it means nothing. If you don't use that power to do good, it's going to pass the time and you'll understand which one are your priorities in life. Because after you see so much death and you see evil, pure evil, what is happening right now in Gaza is pure evil, you start to understand that your priorities in life must be very different. Because I really condemn people with big platforms. I condemn people from any country, background, religion whatsoever that they have the possibility to talk about and they don't talk. They don't have not an ounce of my respect whatsoever from their excuses. I don't care, because we buy your music, we see your movies, we follow you, we. And you refuse to help people, when you have the power to help people, that says a lot about you. And people will forget because they think we will not forget or forgive. And that's the thing. I mean, when I saw all those big celebrities, and especially celebrities who know from day one, and celebrities from many countries that they need to feel at least an affinity with what is happening, and those celebrities are silent, I think your managers like really, really gave you a very bad advice to tell you not to speak about it. Because right now the world is changing. It's a before and after. Because for the first time, we see a genocide live. Genocides happened in the world and injustices happened. But like this time to be streamed on every phone, no. Or it's the first time when you see who's rotten at the core and who's not. Numbers, I lose all my platforms today. Nicole is going to sleep the same. I can assure you that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be very pissed for 1 or 2 days because, of course, it's a work there. And I feel grateful that I have all the platforms and the numbers, but I can model. I model for the brand of my family. We have a small brand of pajamas. Okay, I can model for that. No problem. If I want to have brands, I can have them. Have all those things. Be an actress, be funny, do your makeup, do whatever you want. If you don't harm anyone, do whatever you want. It's your choice and your conversation with God. But if you have those things and you also have humanity and values and you help people and you have spirituality, wow, that's a gem. I'm not saying that Nicole has all of those things. I'm working every day on them. But at least I'm trying, when I put my head on the pillow not to be my judge. Because my partner or my family or the people I love can judge me, but nothing feels worse than the judgment of the pillow, and not the physical pillow, but your own conscience. And if you don't feel like this, if there are people listening this and you don't feel like this, I can tell you, you're empty. You're empty and you're living for those numbers. Tomorrow the internet will break down. Who are you? Who are you when nobody's watching? That's the question. Because when everybody's watching, you know who you are. But who are you when nobody's watching? If you tell me you're the same person, analyze that person. If you can stay 1 hour without your phone and analyze who's that person. And don't take me as an example because it costs me a lot. At least I'm trying to sleep well. And even so, I don't. Because at night I'm a night bird, and I start to do scripts and I start to have very bad ideas, very, very bad. So countless insults I have for a lot of people that I'm reading on the internet. But this is me with one brain cell that I have. But basically, who are you when nobody's watching?
Yeah. It's so beautiful. Honestly, I feel like there's so much alignment. You know, we just finished doing a 3-year deep dive into the Quran where Dr. Abul shared his lifelong journey in understanding like what does God's book have to say to all of us, and so much exactly what you just articulated. And it's so beautiful because it just underscores the connection of all of humanity, and that ethics and morality and virtue, we're, as you said at the beginning, we're all human beings. We're all created the same way. And, we live in a moment right now where it's the ultimate test, right? God put in front of all of us, okay, here it is, plain sight for everyone to see, pure evil, just unadulterated. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit and do nothing, or are you going to rise to the occasion? And, for all those things that you said, it's like, okay, how can you live with yourself at night? Are you doing enough? And only you and God know whether you're doing enough, right? Or if you're trying.
Just for my my fellow Muslims, I really I admire the fact that uh, look, you could have lived your life and not bothered yourself with any of this, and you could have had much more money and much more fame and all the material things in the world, but your faith and your connection with God and your connection with yourself is I wish many more Muslims would follow your example. It just
Or you could have
something that's really beautiful.
You could have very easily said, well, they're not Christian, so that's not my problem, and which many people do. And
Unfortunately, yeah.
that says so much about, about ethics, because it's got to be for humanity, not just a portion of humanity. And that's, that's what we say. Also, it's like, we've had our experiences with, I had some experiences with Israeli companies that I was working with, Jewish companies. And when October 7th hit, they ended our engagement, not because I did anything wrong, other than, we did a whole segment on Palestine, but we didn't at the very forefront condemn Hamas, and so that was enough to get us canceled. Um, Forget all the other humanist work we do, and
No,
so it's
they actually terminated their contracts to they were our book designers, we're publishers, we publish books, and they were supposed to design and market these books, and we just received letters of termination, because you did not you talked about the Israeli crimes, and you did not condemn Hamas in the first 2 minutes of your videos.
That
And
sounds so like Piers Morgan, the
yeah,
desperation of the condemn Hamas. Oh my God, that man.
yeah.
You
yeah,
don't need them. If they terminated the contract, everything happened for a reason. Did
Thank
you
you.
expect them not to? For sure, if you cannot expect them not to. If they have this type of beliefs, why would you? It's a psychopathy to do this kind of things. Like one thing is the work, and another thing, why would you feel comfortable to work with psychopaths? I would have been very pissed at the beginning because they affect my work, absolutely. But then I would not like to work with psychopaths. Why would I work with psychopaths? It's impossible. I have to protect my mental health. The little that I have left, but I'm sorry that you lost the contract, but in the end,
Sorry at all,
as a
because
blessing.
I didn't know they were psychopaths. And so this is the beauty of what's happened, right? Is that, now the truth of everyone comes out. And so they really did us a favor. And yeah, it's hurtful because it's based in racism, and it's a very disappointing thing to see. I mean, it didn't occur to me like, okay, you're Jewish, why would I end my contract with you? It has nothing to do with anything. And that's the difference between you and me. And so they really did us a favor, thank God. But yeah, but it's a moment. It's such an interesting, painful, but truth.
again, Nicole, I want to ask you about. I mean, you grew up in Europe, right? In between Romania and Spain.
Yes.
To what extent do you think the lack of empathy in that we, even I've seen some, unfortunately, very insensitive and immoral journalism from some Spanish journalists. I haven't seen anything from Romania, but Spain definitely. To what extent does race play a factor? Racism, pure and simple. That those people being butchered, those children. I mean, we all see these mass graves with these tons of bodies, with bringing back to memory images of World War II and the mass burial of people and all of it. But to what extent race plays a factor in this, do you think?
I'm going to start by saying that Spain, as a country and as its people, it's a very nice place and people are wonderful. But, however, Spain is a very racist country. And for such simple reasons like a daily racism, and especially towards Arabs and Black people. And maybe it's a surprise for everybody to say, I'm going to say more than 50%. We saw months back a full stadium of 50,000 people throwing banana at a black man in Spain and calling him a monkey. We saw yesterday how hundreds of thousands of people in Spain paint their faces in black, mocking, trying to, not mocking, because in their mind they're not mocking. They have the Reyes Day, the Day of the Kings, the kings that came to give gifts to Jesus Christ, and one of them was a black man, Balthazar. So white people painting their face in black and trying to impersonate black people, but at the same time they have a very racist slurs towards the entire, let's say, phenomenon. If you go to Spain, every Arab that they see, it's Moro, which it means Moroccan, but in a very despective kind of bad way, referring to them.
Despairing, yeah.
Because majority of them, they think that all Arabs are from Morocco because Morocco is closed, and they go from Ceuta, Melilla, Tangier, and in Morocco. That's the problem in Spain is not because they are racist because they want to be racist. It's a very low IQ very low IQ. I'm so sorry for the Spanish people who are going to feel insulted by this, but they know I'm right. It's a very racist thing that's happening in Spain. If you want to buy something cheap, for example, you have to go to say, I'm going to El Chino, the Chinese guy, but in a very bad way. And this is a daily word in every Spanish house. So like micro racism and racism daily. And they're not people who like to read or learn other languages, very closed in the mentality of the society. So they have this idea that all Arabs are terrorists, like majority of them. And I also have to point that Spanish that do know and do protest are the most fiery people about it, very passionate. When they understood the cause and they understood what happened in Palestine, I saw amazing protest and amazing gestures from Spain. But the other part that I will say half of it, because it's half, unfortunately, with all the news and everything is happening, it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. I lost people that I loved in my life. I lost them as friends after we had such simple conversation as, do you see those kids dead? And those kids are like this. Yeah, next time they will not attack Israel. We're talking about 2 years old kids. So when I'm saying that you need to have a very strong brain to go against and explain the people from Europe, I'm not joking. The racism, it's at such a point, and not only racism, the stupidity. It's a big stupidity with a big S, stupidity written, that I had questions like, do you see the moon from Romania? No, I have my own natural satellite, for example. Stuff like this. So if those people think that all Arab countries, 20-something Arab countries are from Morocco, and they think that Moroccan people speak Arabic when they speak Maghreb, if you don't know those differences, what can I say? When Spanish as a language has Arabismes are words from Arabic. Almohada, it's mohada that you sleep on. Inshallah, it's ojalá. We have a lot. Azúcar, it's sukkar, sugar. We have all those words that are from Arabic. A big part of Spanish vocabulary, it's in Arabic. It's the lack of general culture. And the other 50% are extremely passionate, are extremely not to offend anyone, extremely critical thinking, but it's a half. And the other half is making a lot of disasters in Spain, I must say. It's not middle way. It's a country that I absolutely love. Either you go in a way that it's you hate them and you have to fight with them, or I go into the other way and I see wonderful people. Think that in Romania, I cannot say is the same, because Romania is a country that suffered a lot. And if people don't know, it's because they suffer too much to know. That's the thing. It's like we still have, either we have very rich people or very poor people. But at least in Romania, they have this heart that they care about anything. If you explain them, God is first, a country that believes and really respects religion a lot, thing that I cannot say on the other part of Europe. So, but I had more expectations from Romania. Unfortunately, it's a country that, politically speaking, is sold to US and Israel. Sold, piece by piece, sold. I don't know what remedy we can have for that country. But as people with good heart and people that have critical thinking, at least because they lived poverty and they lived a lot of difficulties in life. I cannot say the same thing. And that's why I criticize more Spain as my second country, because I care about my two countries. Because I had more expectations for them to understand. They don't. And don't care. You're so lucky you don't see the news in Europe because if you understood the news there and read the comments and what is happening there, you can get sick. With my Spanish platforms, and I have very big Spanish platforms, like almost 2 million people in one Spanish platform, I cannot go and make the same content without, I don't know, considering to have 2 calming teas before. At that kind of level of yes, but I heard, how can you speak about Palestine and you don't realize that there were burned houses in like what burned houses? They entered with guns. They didn't enter with helicopters. Who burned the houses? Yeah, who?
Yeah.
What happened? Like really, if you saw the videos of Hamas entering there and they entered with guns, but to burn at that level of burning the houses, who burned the houses? The Israeli soldiers. Ah, yes, but do you condemn Hamas?
Yeah, as you said, Pierce Morgan phenomenon.
Piers Morgan phenomenon.
Yeah,
Have you ever had
it's
the cassette, that type of old cassette? Because I still have a device like this that has had a problem and repeat the same word and repeat the same. It's a broken cassette. Wallah, it's a broken cassette, Piers Morgan.
yeah, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's stunning in its moral failures. It just completely you just your jaws drops and you wonder what is God thinking looking down on us. I mean, I know human rights workers that have been to every war zone and and are hard as rock. And when what they've seen in Gaza broke them, made them break down and cry. And they say what we've seen in Gaza is worse than Syria, worse than what we've seen in Syria, worse than what we've seen in Iraq and in Afghanistan, worse than what we've seen in Burma or Myanmar, worse than anywhere else. The you know families sitting with the rotting bodies of their loved ones under piles in the same rubble. And Israel, I mean, Israel has even been filmed. I mean, it's indisputable, filmed executing people, engaging in extrajudicial killings. Uh, the evidence is overwhelming. Um, it, I mean, it makes me wonder what is the future of our world. I mean, we all morally, after the enormous moral failures of World War II, sort of clinged on, grasped with our teeth and nails to the idea of human rights. You know, very Universal Declaration of Human Rights, principles of the UN Charter, you know, these what pre-emptory norms of international law, that you have to respect some fundamental basic values, you know, the things like the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. And then you wake up and you find that those same colonial powers that sort of promised the world, okay, you know, okay, colonialism happened. Now we're opening up a new chapter, it's democracy. And you wake up thinking it was all a lie. None of it was true. It's like these it's as if you were dealing with models or actors, you know, people playing roles all these years. They're you know, I some years ago I received the Oslo Awards and Oslo Human Rights Award, and just a couple of days ago I was staring at the plaque I got and thinking to myself, what does this mean? What does an Oslo Human Rights Award mean when I mean, how do you, Nicole, how do you wrestle? How do you wrestle? How do you deal with that? Were you always skeptical about, I mean, were you never fooled by it? Or are you in a bit of a daze like me that it all have turned out to be such a pathetic lie, or what? I'm just really, really want to hear your thoughts on this.
I never had expectations. That's the problem. You cannot have expectations from the world. You have to keep going with your values. The moment you have expectations from who? I mean, it's like we're the kids and we have political power who takes care of us. Who's falling for that? Like, we had freedom of speech. No, we didn't. I mean, you have freedom of speech until my freedom of speech finishes when other people's freedom of speech starts. If I don't have a full freedom of speech to talk about everything I want and I'm not censored or put in jail, or I cannot say things about the royal house in Spain, why I cannot? When it's a corrupt royal house and they are stealing money, it's a public case. And we have singers in Spain in jail because they made songs about those things. But the king the king from before stole a lot of money from Spain. It's a public case. The entire royal house almost was corrupt, and they are in jail. So why would we be fooled that we have freedom of speech? We have freedom of speech until certain level. Because if you think you're free and you have freedom of speech, well, think again. Because we live in a society of canceling, of the cancel culture, that if you say something that don't like, you're canceled, you're banned, you're put in jail, you can suffer a lot of things, lose your job, lose contracts, lose this, that. I think we didn't have the chance until now to discover who we are and what human values our society lacks, because we didn't have the chance until now to see butchered kids and to see the blood, pools of blood. We didn't have this situation until now to see reality what we have around. And we got a little bit comfortable thinking, okay, I don't have that much freedom of speech, because if I talk about I don't know. There are a lot of things that personally I'm protesting against. Modern feminism, for example. I cannot take it. This fifth wave of modern feminism, where it sends women to sell their bodies and feel empowered. Yeah, this thing of sell your body for the price of a kebab, feel empowered on social media. Wow, what an empowerment. Amazing. I speak against a lot of things. So this is one of the things that as a woman, I don't feel empowered about this fifth wave of feminism that hates men, hates traditional values, and hates working for your house and your household. They think it's something very bad. But anyway, and then we're wondering what the population decreases. But anyway, it's okay. They just want to take taxes from men and women, empower you as a woman, and then we're wondering why we have so much depression, because we actually have more women depressed than ever. And we thought we're empowered. No, it's okay to be a powerful woman, to have your business, everything, but stop talking about the fact that having a household and family and kids is something bad. Anyway, as I was saying, if I speak against what I just said right now, I can be cancelled. That means I don't have freedom of speech. I don't. So I think we were fooled to believe that on certain matters we could speak, but now we have the ultimate test. We have the test of humanity, and we see what's happening in Palestine, and we don't hear, we see it. Don't have expectation. Why would you have expectations that your government or my government or somebody will do something? They will not do it. If they're not on Jeffrey Epstein list, being blackmailed on all the videos they can come up with, everything is happening with Jeffrey Epstein, well, they want money. Or simply they have, I mean, do you think they want to end wars? What about the industry of guns? They will just finish. They do a lot of money from that industry. Do you think they want to cure you if you have any disease? Do you think with everything that all the technology and all the research, they didn't find the cancer cure? And sadly, people who are investigating cancer cure, they are dying. Do you think they want to cure you? What about big pharma? Do you think wants to lose clients? Do you think they want to take care of you and to needle you with all types of vaccines? They needle little kids with vaccines of diseases that they don't even exist anymore. So if you think you're free and you don't want to have critical condition, another thing if you want to be comfortable. If you want to be comfortable, be a little sheep, stay in the line, stay there, shut up, go do your vaccines, don't make questions, don't do anything. I'm not talking about corona, any type. I'm making a big research about what type of substances they put in kids and how they become sicker and sicker and sicker. Stay in the line, don't make questions. Be a feminist of fifth wave. That doesn't mean anymore equality in rights and opportunities. It doesn't mean that anymore. No. Right now it means that they want to go naked on the street and protest in Germany, and they feel empowered. No, I think they made men happy on the street, honestly. What can I say? Kudos to them. Do whatever society likes. Point me out to when I protest, when I say that men cannot get pregnant. I'm saying this, and I'm cancelled on social media. Like, okay, maybe I'm old fashioned. I say protect women's sport. No, they want Leah in or whatever his name, her name, whatever they say. I don't care. You as an adult do whatever you want with your life. Whatever you want. Feel a plan, be whatever you want. Stop making all those things an ideology and stop touching our kids. No, not possible, because it's an agenda. Because right now, I'm confused what's happening in US right now. I go on the street, if I go there and somebody can get pissed with me because I misgender them, but I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Because you're not a she, you're not a he, you're not a they, and you're a Z. I never heard Z in my life. I barely had to learn she, he, it, but I don't have a brain
They.
for so much. They, all those things, like your medical system, it's on the ground. Money wise, and people that are drug addicts, and the system is absolutely on the ground. And now I have to care that if you have blue hair, that means you're a smurf. But people are dying in Gaza, and you think you have freedom of speech? When me as a woman, I have to understand that if I don't go naked on the street, completely naked in a protest, that means that I'm not modern enough.
Mhm.
Or if I say that Caitlyn Jenner, it's a biological man, that that right now it had made a transition as a woman, for me, it's still a biological man with that chromosome, and I feel insulted when a person like that talks about the menstruation cycle of a woman when it goes on Woman magazine. It went on the cover of Woman magazine, and we have women that are so powerful, and they're making research and saving lives, and you put that man from that family who mocks dead Palestinian kids, his daughter, and you're putting that person who's a biological man to represent woman, and you call me trans, call me whatever you want, transphobe. I'm not. I know so many people, because Spain is a very a country that has people of any kind. I sit with you, I respect you as a human being. You want to be a lampshade, I will put a bulb light on your nose and light it and fight for your right to plug your bulb. But Habibi, don't pretend me to have the same ideology, and don't push that on kids. Leave the kids alone. But now in US, you have this in school.
Yep.
They're pushing this agenda in school. What kind of crazy? How do you expect me to explain people Gaza war when we're talking with people that they... What world we're living in? I'm gonna go again to my countryside farm, and I'm gonna be happy there.
Yeah.
At least I don't have this conversation with... So it takes a lot of sarcasm to keep your mental health in check. Do you think I have expectations with this kind of people that you have to get out right now? I don't know how it's in Ohio. In Ohio, you said you are right now.
Yes.
And somebody will, Karen from the street will scream at you because you misgender. I really misgender somebody once because I really thought he's a man. I didn't know that if you have green, blue, white hair or whatever things in your nose, that means you are from Zizarzur. How am I supposed to know that? We don't have that in Eastern Europe. I don't know how you people keep your mental health there. And then you expect to have this kind of conversation that we're having with this kind of people. Like what? Oh my God! What the pandemic did with the people in the house? They got too bored.
Oh, Nicole, you have a lot of influence across different cultures and different, age groups. But you're because you're younger, you're in the next generation. You're, I think, a millennial probably. We're more in the. I mean, I'm 57 almost next month, and
I'm 32. Trust me, we're in the same range. We don't understand this generation. No, we don't.
You're getting there, Nicole, right? You're coming close to 57 in no time.
Yeah,
but
well, I have something until, but you don't look like 57. You're both conserving each other very good.
thank you. Well, I mean, age is a construct, it's a state of mind. So I actually don't even, I have a hard time thinking I'm more than 30. I think I'm your age. But still, physically I may not be here as long as you. God only knows. But you are the future of, you and the generations to come, are the future of our world. And such a difficult world to live in. But I'm just curious, so what's ahead for you? What's the message that you want to share? What's the hope that you want to give people? What do you want them to do? Because I've heard you talk a lot about, breaking the system, not buying into the lies, understanding that your freedom is limited, democracy. I mean, of course, number one is educate yourself and free yourself and think. But like, what's next for you, and where will you be in 20 years? So what do you hope to be doing? Wherever your crazy brain takes you.
I'm gonna tell you what I did today when I was trying to explain a waiter in a restaurant. I want to take the food to take it away. I did like this. Pack this and take it. I
Carry the
go.
food on your shoulder and
Yeah.
I go. That was the gesture. I'm gonna tell you the same thing. I don't know. I'm gonna do. I'm a very responsible person with my life, but in terms of human values, I know maybe I'm gonna be hated because we just had a conversation that, wow, it's a very difficult times are coming. So human values are less and less and less, and they're replaced with such trivial things. And my message for people: don't have expectations. Those are going to kill you. Expectations from your governments, from political powers, expectations that the world will be a better place. Buckle up and put your helmets, because it's not going to happen. Because if it's not this, it's going to be another thing and another thing. But that doesn't mean you should stop. You cannot stop once you started to understand that you need to fight the evil. Is very important. Your grain of salt that you put on this recipe of human rights that and love in the world matters, even if it's a little bit. Don't have expectations, but don't stop. Because the moment you stop, you will be replaced by a person who does evil, and the numbers are going to increase, because evil, it's unfortunately has bigger numbers than the good in the world. So you cannot expect right now that with a movie, with a video, with something that you did on internet or outside internet, if nothing changes, well, I'm gonna go back to my life. Go back to your life. You have a family, you have responsibility, you have work, but find time to do good things, and find time. Whatever you see, if you had the time to see one piece of news on internet, whatever you saw that piece of news, contrast that, educate yourself, stop believing, and stop being afraid to get out of the sheep zone. Because some of them believe they come from monkeys, but they turn into sheep in reality. Stop being afraid to recognize that you're a sheep. Okay, you're a sheep until today, and from now on, get out of the herd. It's okay that because some people are so afraid to recognize that they are in that sheep line, because they know they're going to break mentally. I was fooled for such a long time, and I was such a fool for such a long time. And stop staying in that comfort zone, because eventually that comfort zone will attack you in some way. And you're seeing it. They're attacking our kids. They're attacking our values. They're attacking. And when I'm saying attacking our kids, I'm talking about any country. You're going to wake up one day having a law that, like the one they want to approve in Romania, to take the kids from you. The state can take the kids from you for very trivial excuses. And they woke up. How did we end here? How did we end seeing a genocide on our phones and not doing anything? Because so many years passed, so many mockery of Arab world. They are terrorists, all the portraying in all the movies, dressed how they are dressed, with throwing a bomb or throwing a bag or whatever. This is the image that they saw. From now on, everything you see, have critical thinking. Because if Netflix or HBO or BBC or whoever, whatever is your source of lies, that doesn't mean if you see this information there, that doesn't mean it's validated. So it's okay I don't normally say I validate your feelings, because for me, feelings are okay. They're not true necessarily. Facts are more important. I don't care to hurt people's feelings. I can promise them that I'm going to be the villain they need, because everybody will, I'm going to protect your feelings. I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm going to tell you the things as I see them. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not afraid to say I'm sorry if I'm wrong in any moment. My pride actually resides in seeing the truth, not because Nicole, or I was wrong and I will not admit it. No, I'm going to be the villain you need. And I'm going to tell you the things exactly as they are when I'm going to see them. This is my plan. People, they don't want to see good people. They want to see villains. I have no problem being their villain, but I'm going to be a villain of the truth. I really have no problem with that. So it's okay to get out of the hurt, is what I'm telling them. And don't have expectations with anything. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse in many. I'm not talking only about Gaza, about life generally. It's such a degenerate world that we're living in. And it's going to go way worse. And that's how you're going to have the test on your faith, on your values, on everything. Everybody, oh, I'm such a Christian, such a Muslim, such a religious person. I want to see you now, because you have the test right now. Where are you on the test? When everything is okay? That's not how it's happening. God doesn't put you to test when everything is fine. When everything is fine, you have a lot of friends. Everything is good. Now, when you have nothing, who stays with you? It's the same thing. And they're saying how God is mean, because no, if you ever celebrate whatever religious day or whatever, why are you celebrating if you don't believe that God put you to test and this life is just passing? You're passing through, and this is your test. That it can be very painful. Well, it's your turn and your chance to show how it's your belief, how it's your spirituality. Oh yeah, I think I spoke a lot, but my message was on the question.
Beautiful, and it's perfect because it's, honestly, it's so Islamic, and so hearing you say it also like really warms my heart. And so that's what we try to teach, and it's beautiful when you see other people also, believe in that ethic. And I have to ask you, so in these dark times, what sorts of things do you do to preserve your mental health, or take a break, or find peace and light, and and regeneration, so that you can come back and fight?
Well, at the level of spirituality, of course you have challenges in your life, because life can become so hard sometimes. So you have a situation in your life where you can lose your faith and lose your belief in God. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what religion you have. In each moment of our lives, we can have that test and that trial. So I'm just talking with God. I'm praying not to lose myself from spirituality, because I think it's very important to have it and to nourish it as well. Because it's the same thing when you're taking care of your body, going to gym, take care of your mind by a daily thing of nourishing your spirituality. It's very important. I'm just having it. No, nourish it. It's very important. And on the other side, I just put all the phones in the drawer. I don't want to see my phones. I take my dog and the book. I recommend people to read books. It doesn't matter what you want to read. Don't read the heresies and stuff that will make you crazy. Read literature, read books. Trust me, it's such, for people who don't understand what is to read daily, it's such an empowerment, and it nourishes your brain a lot. When you do exercise in the gym, as I said, when you also nourish your brain and your spirituality, that's how you keep yourself whole. And when you cannot do none of those things, you go in the desert and scream for half an hour, and that works as well. But it works. And allow yourself to be on the ground and be hurt, but don't expect people to lift you. Even if there are people who love you the most in this life, they will have the intention to lift you. But if you like to be a victim, you will stay there in the ground. You will not do anything. It doesn't depend on people around you to get up. It depends on them to have the intention. You know their love, but it takes also how can I say will to do anything you want in life. It takes a choice for everything. Make that choice with and bear the consequences, because life, it is what it is. Whatever we do or we say has a consequence.
Thank you so much. I can't help but notice the parallels. The proof is in the pudding, right? I mean, when you see the confidence, the empowerment, the liberation, the knowledge, the critical thinking, and how it comes together. It's like the consequence of good inputs produces good people and people who are not afraid to act. And, I see that in you. I see that in Professor Abul Fadl. I see that in a lot of people who follow our work. And so there's obviously a very important recipe here that people need to follow. And so I just, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And, it isn't lost on us that you've been on the planet, fewer years than both of us. And, yet you're so wise and so, empowered to do what's right. It's very beautiful. And I hope that role modeling will be very powerful for, our students, for the people who follow our work, because, the future is ours to create. And it's important for people to see role models who, can give others confidence, to do what they need to do, because everyone has a role, everyone has a gift, and everyone can make this world better. That's how, I believe that's how we fight back, and we have to with, all our heart. We're coming. I told you 2 hours was going to fly by.
It was 2 hours already. I didn't realize it.
This has been
Nicole, I just want to say that your political satire, I mean, of course, I couldn't follow the Spanish material, but it is so powerful, and the way you deliver sophisticated points, but in such a comedic fashion. I think it's just brilliant, and I really hope that you just keep it up. I it tells me a lot that people who know they're wrong found your political satire, your comedy, find it so threatening, and it upsets them so much. I mean, I've seen people get upset about your skits more than entire books. An entire book about Gaza, but they're more bothered by it. So I just want to say, keep it up, please, and just keep putting out things, and you're amazing. I have just mad respect for you. And I just hope that you are going to thrive, and that God will protect you and take care of you, and help you achieve every dream that you want.
Thank you very
I'll
much
pray
for
for
such
you.
kind words. Thank you very much for all
I
your
pray
kind
for
words. That's
you.
amazing.
and I think
I
that
will pray for both of you, and thank you very much for the
Please,
kind words. I'm sorry if
please
I don't know
do.
how to react to compliments or kind words, but it's just my My
No,
little
no, no,
brain
you're
cell who
fine.
doesn't know
You're
what to
fine.
react to
You're
them.
fine.
I
You're
was
fine.
always like this. I was always
Yeah.
like, Nicole doesn't know how to react in compliments. She's
Grace will tell you, I'm like that. I'm exactly like you, Nicole.
There's so much
Yeah.
similarity between the two of you. And so it's actually quite striking for me. And I think that what we've learned from you is that we've been too nice. We need to be villainous, and we have to own
absolutely.
being truthful because, you got to own it. You got to, it's like, why be nice about it? It's truth. And, and we got to add a little more comedy. We've done some comedy, but we gotta run with that too.
Yeah, we gotta up our game. Yeah, we gotta up our game
I
for sure.
agree. Like I'm done playing nice.
Yeah.
With it's a lot of things that I encourage people to do. Like if you want to know any business that supports a genocide, just put a bumper sticker, take a picture, put it on the internet, and say that this brand supports Palestine. They will be forced to come up and say they don't. So like this, because it's happening. Do this. Don't play nice. There are plenty of websites of Zionists who are putting their videos and they're banning them. And I ask people to do the same thing. Consequences of that, we took down 2 big websites that they had. Not that just for me, but because I said it. We team up and we don't play nice because we know the truth. Why would be I'm done playing the victim. I never played the victim, but it's like playing the I'm so hurt. Go full speed because the truth is on our side. Say what is happening and stop being afraid of people judging you. People would judge everything. They go to a wedding and judge the food. They don't judge the food, they judge anything. People judge because it's in our DNA to judge. No problem. Keep your path.
Amen.
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 Thank you so much. And we will look forward to your next series of incredible satire. And, I pray that 2024 will be a much better year for our ability to fight back and make a difference. I agree with you. Things are going to get tough, but it's our chance to see what we're made of. And thank you for being such an important role model for everyone. So we wish you all the success in the world, and we are huge fans. So
Thank
thank
you very much for kind words. It was so nice meeting you both. You're such genuine, smart people. It was such a joy to have this conversation. I really enjoyed it a lot. Really. Thank you for having me.
you,
Thank you,
Joel.
Nicole.
Lots of love. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And please do check out incredible work. Whatever social media you follow, Nicole Jeans, Jenes. And then also please support her incredible efforts to create more clothing for people in Gaza. She's working with Red Crescent. They actually are one of the organizations that can deliver product to people in Palestine. So it's a really important place to donate. And I think you can find the link to that. We'll share the link as well, but I'm sure that Nicole has a GoFundMe link that is available on her Instagram page. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. I'm going to end the live stream, and then Nicole will meet you again for our follow-up. Thank you so much, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for seeing this live stream. And please follow them on Instagram as well. And I will put some parts of this interview as well on my social media so you can see their work.
Thank you so much. Take care. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Welcome to Romania Airport, madam. Bună ziua. Please passport.
Hello?
So you come from here, not read.
Hello?
No?
Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Hello?
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't but.
Oh, are you guys still there?
No, I'm here, but I don't see Nicole.
Okay, yeah, no, I emailed you a link to a Google Meet.
Yeah.
So go to your email and find the email from me with a link. It says Google Meet link for debrief after conversation. That's the
Is that in
email that I sent you.
my inbox?
in your inbox, Abu Alpha. And I also texted you if you want to do it by phone, but I think because your ears are connected to your computer, it's better if you find that
Yeah,
email that I
okay,
sent.
I clicked on Google Meet.
Okay, yeah, just click on it and we'll get there.
Say ask to join, ready to join, ask to join.
Okay, yes, and I am going to let you in. So hang on 1 second. Okay. Oh wait, hang on. Shelley, can you end your live on your?
Oh. Which key is here helping me? 'Cause,
Okay, tell them